النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن والاقتصاد جزء من 24 جزءا من النبوة. Today's hadith is found in the collection of Imam at-Tirmidhi, where the Prophet ﷺ said that the Samt al-Hasan, the character or the personality that is calm, that is collected, that is not easily agitated or provoked or triggered, that's the first characteristic. And what which means patience. And this means patience in all matters of your life, at work, in relationships, whether even if you're on the road, in business, whatever it may be, you take things easy. It doesn't mean that you stop, you just freeze, or you don't function properly, but it means that you take thoughtful and considerate actions. And then wal-iqtisad, and moderation. Now there's two types of moderation, and here the hadith is talking about a specific type. There's the type that has room for improvement. For example, we have someone who is stingy or someone who is generous. And then the person in the middle, he's a little bit stingy, a little bit generous. He has a mixture of both. So there's room for improvement. He could be more generous. So this type of moderation has room for improvement. But this is not what the hadith is talking about. It's talking about the moderation that is always praiseworthy. For example, someone who spends their money, that's a spendthrift. They just spend their money left and right, and they don't know how to control their finances. They're always in debt. And then the other extreme, someone who always hoards their money, and they don't spend in charity, on his family, on his spouse, whatever it may be. They don't spend, they're always hoarding the money. They just want the financial wealth to themselves, and they don't spend it in any cause. And the moderation here is the person in the middle. So you have a red, and then the green in the middle. And that's always praiseworthy, which is the one who is muqtasid, who is moderate in the way they spend. They're generous, and they spend in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they don't withhold the money, especially zakat, especially the ones that are that's obligatory to give out. And these three characteristics, juz'un, it's a part of 1/24 of a nubuwah. It's one part of 24th of the nubuwah. So you're getting a proportion of the nubuwah. It doesn't mean that you're going to become a prophet. No one can be a prophet or a partial prophet. But it means here that you're following characteristics that the Prophet ﷺ and the prophets that came before him used to teach. They're calm, they're collected, they are not easily provoked, they're patient. And that's how they're able to convey the message, because they're going to get a lot of hate, a lot of enemies, and they're going to get pushback. But they're patient. They don't allow other people to provoke them, to push them to act in an irresponsible way. And then finally, they are moderate in their spending, even though they might, for you, it might be like they spend all their money in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in the position where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them, that is for them, they're still encompassing these characteristics. And this is all of that. If you look at all these characteristics, it's basically summing self-control, someone who's able to control themselves. They're considerate, they're thoughtful, and they're not hasty and rushed in their decision. And these are all praiseworthy characteristics that we should all seek and look forward to gaining, because they're a part of what the prophets all had and what they taught and preached. I hope that was of benefit. يروي الإمام الترمذي في جامعه عن عبد الله بن جرس رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: السمت الحسن والتأودة والاقتصاد جزء من 24 جزءا من النبوة. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.